Yo, RX back with another recap of Dana White's Contender Series. This time we are halfway through the season, beginning the halfway point with week 6, which was fine. I can't say it was terrible because I'd be a liar if I did, but I also can't say it was great because there's definitely been better weeks so far this season, so it was fine. Better than no fights this week, which obviously we don't have a card this week, which sucks, but you know, it happens. We still got Contender Series at the end of the day, so I'm happy to still be able to make a video of some sort during this fight this week. And just like a few weeks ago when we had break week, that video is the Contender Series recap. So thank God for Contender Series. It makes break week so much more bearable. And yeah, this is another case of that. Again, it wasn't the greatest week in the world, but for no fights this week and something on Tuesday night, I enjoyed it. Again, not the best week of the season, but still a fine season. Some highlights I'm excited to talk about, and new fighters I'm excited to talk about. So I say, shall we waste any more time, or shall we just get into it? I think I've said about all I need to say in this intro. I think the only thing left to really say is normal YouTube bullshit, which is, as always, please like, comment, and subscribe. 200 subs goal by the end of 2025. And with that being said, I can't really think of anything left to say in this intro. I talked about how I thought the card was fine overall. Talked about how there's no fights this week, but thank God for Contender Series, and I did normal YouTube bullshit. So I think that only means one thing, right? Well, let's recap it. So, let's not waste any more time, and let's get into some recapping, or only recapping of the week. Certainly no breakdowning, but next week. But we get to recap this week. So let's do it. No UFC card, but still Contender Series as we start the halfway point of the season. Contender Series Week 6 recap. You ready? I know I am. 5 fights on Tuesday night, our only fights this week. Let's begin. As we begin in the bantamweight division with a fight that was not great, but the ending was good. As we have in our first fight of the night at bantamweight, a very weird fight and kind of a poorly refed one, but nothing new here. As we had in our opening fight of week 6 to begin the second half of the Contender Series season of 2025, we had Cody Chovancek, I have no idea how to say his name, I forgot already, versus Raphael Uchegbu. I believe that's how you say it. Yeah, this fight was weird as shit. Again, pretty poorly refed. As in, for round 1, Uchegbu started pretty damn good. For like 2 minutes, he was able to land some good shots, get him on the cage, etc. But then Cody, when he was getting shot on for a takedown, he grabbed the cage, and not long after he threw a vicious 12-6 elbow right on Uchegbu's head that dropped him back. I think it counted as a knockdown, it should. And then that's when Cody just took over the fight. He laid in his guard for the rest of the round, clearly took round 1. Round 2, he pretty much just laid in his guard the whole time, nothing eventful happened. So then Cody was clearly up 2-0, Uchegbu needed a finish, and what happens? Round 3 starts, Cody lands a perfect overhand right, like in seconds into the round, hurts Raphael, chases him down, one good punch knocks him over, and that's that. 10 seconds into round 3. Cody gets the finish in a fight that was pretty terrible up to that point, but the finish was good, and Cody secured himself a contract for that after a very forgettable performance. The finish saved his ass, and Cody Chovancek gets the finish and the contract to begin episode 6. No, to get to the point, or just get to the main point here, was this as good as the other opening fights lately? Hell no. This was not half as good as the last few opening fights, like the Forio fight last week or the Tom McMillan fight 2 weeks ago. This was not even close to as good as those fights. But this did end in a finish, unlike those fights, so still a worse fight, but still a pretty decent ending to the first try of the night. A nice knockout, even with the very questionable reffing and cheating by Cody. This was a fine opener. Could have been worse, could have been better. Ended in the finish at least, because without the finish, there's no way he gets a contract. And this was good. This was a fine opener. Not really much else I can say. Without the finish, it sucks. With the finish, it ends in someone getting a contract. What else can I say? I guess the only thing left to say now is to talk about the fighters. We'll begin with the newest signing, and the first signing of the night, Cody Chovancek, 9-0 from Canada. 27 years old, training out at the Jasmine Jazavicius Mike Malott camp. Out of everyone signed tonight, I can kind of say I have the least hopes or lowest ceiling for Cody. A, he's at bantamweight, a stacked division. B, he looked fine here, but he didn't look phenomenal. Again, without the finish, there's no world you sign him. And C, I just see the rest of fighters on this card who got contracts were good, but yeah, I just did not think much of, like, he looked fine. The knockout, I'm happy he went for the knockout even up 2-0, but outside of that, like, was I super impressed? Not really. I thought who he's fighting was a complete tomato can, and again, without the finish, would I even consider giving him a contract? No. He cheated, blatantly grabbed the cage, and he was very fine with being boring for most of the first 10 minutes of the fight, so I just don't think too much of Cody. He does deserve a contract, because he did get a nice finish, but outside of that, was I impressed? Not really. I think he's going to be average or below average in the UFC, and he'll just be another guy on the roster. I don't think he's going to be great. I don't think he's going to be a can. He's probably the best Canadian bandweight they have, because I can't think of anyone else out. Well, I guess Charles Jourdain is a bandweight now. And then what else? Chad and Hellinger. So I guess Cody's the second best Canadian bandweight, and that's cool. About all I gotta say about Cody. Out of all the contract winners, the least, like, impressive or, like, big signing wise, but he did earn the contract and got a nice finish in the end of a fight he was already winning, so he looks for the kill. I respect that. Welcome to the UFC. Stop cheating, and I have no problem with you being here. And then for the opponent, Raphael Uchegbu. I have no idea if I'm saying that correctly. Now he falls to 10-2, 30 years old. Yeah, this dude's terrible. I don't really know what to really say. This dude's awful. His striking at the beginning of the fight looked alright, but after that elbow, he kind of just shut off. His grappling was pretty much him just holding Cody and fucking on the ground, like wrapping his legs around him, holding them there. This dude's terrible. Go back to Bellator, PFL, wherever the fuck you want, and yeah, this dude's ass. So, could I see him coming back for in the future? No, he's 30. He's not very good. Yeah, that's about that. I think he sucks. I'm trying to think out of the four fighters who lost to contract would Uchegbu be the worst? Probably. He sucks. What can I say? And that's about all I got to say about this fight. Actually, I don't do fight ideas for Contender Series very often. It would be a really rare case if I did. And, yeah, that's about all I got to say about the opening fight of the night. Good win for Cody to open the night. Good finish. Stop grabbing the cage and cheating. I have no problem with you being in the UFC. He's fine. Least impressive winner of the night, but still a winner nonetheless. Earned his contract. Welcome. About all I gotta say. Canada has another fighter, thankfully, because God do they need him. UK couldn't get a new fighter because he sucks. And, decent way to begin the night. Not as good as we usually instead of starting the cards lately, but not off Weezer. Welcome to the UFC, Cody. Stop grabbing the cage. After that, we get to our piss break of the night. You know there always is one. And God, what this is, could easily make the case for the worst fight of the season so far. I'm not going to say for sure it was, but there's a strong debate to be made that it was. As we had our second fight of the night, the worst fight of the night, a fight I'm not going to waste a lot of time on because there's nothing to really say here. We had our second fight of the night, the fight I was most hyped for on paper. God, was I an idiot for being hyped for this. We have our piss break of the night, Paddy McCorry versus legendary Hwang. Legendary is a pretty fitting nickname because he was legendarily shit. Maybe the dumbest fighter in Contender Series history. To give a short version of a very long shitty fight. For 15 minutes, Paddy ran away and Hwang just followed, pretty much throwing nothing. I can't really describe him in simpler terms. Paddy just ran away for 15 minutes, throwing bare minimum, and Hwang fucking just followed him, throwing like one punch every like 3 minutes. And that was about that. Clear 30-27 McCorry. Don't think anyone's really gonna debate or disagree with that. God awful fight. Again, you could easily make the case for the worst fight of the season. One dude just ran away. The other dude didn't even want to try and fight. He just was acting like he was on a treadmill walking the whole time. Garbage fight. Just pure garbage. And what else can I say? The piss break of the card. Which, you know, every card needs one, and this was that, so nothing else to say. Talk about the fighters real quick. Paddy was fine. He did his job. He threw more against a guy who just walked forward at him for 15 minutes, so, like, obviously he didn't get a contract for mainly running away. He sucks. I do think more than likely he'll get a short notice opportunity in the future because he is Irish, and we know how much Dana loves that market. But, yeah, I don't think he's very good at all. He was on Tough a few years ago. If you recognize him, that it would be where and why. He did get to the semifinals, but lost to Robert Valentine by submission, no less. He's not very good. He's from Cage Warriors, which, you know, sucks. And, yeah, he sucks. I don't know what else you want me to say. He just ran away for 15 minutes. He, again, more than likely he'll get a short notice opportunity in the UFC, but for tonight, there's no world you can sign him outside of being Irish. Dana had no good reason to sign him, and he didn't, thankfully. He's a can. That's that. He lost to Robert Valentine. And then for Mr. Legendary over here, for again going down in legend as being one of the worst Contender Series fighters of all time, in Hwang. How did this dude ever win a fight? He's awful. All he did, he trained with Sean Strickland. He makes Sean Strickland look like Justin Gaethje. How the fuck do you throw less than Strickland? He literally for 15 minutes just walked forward and threw like the bare minimum. I think by the end of the fight he had like 17 strikes or some bullshit landed. Like, maybe just thrown. Like, he fucking did nothing. When he finally did open up in round 3, he didn't do awful. He cut Paddy pretty badly, cracked him once or twice. Like, what do you want me to say? Like, he didn't try to fight. He just walked forward for 15 minutes, doing the barest of minimum. So, he sucks. He sucks, and I could easily go down as the worst fighter of the season. The dumbest, for sure. He's terrible. What else am I really meant to say? Legendarily shit. And with that being said, that's about all I have to say. Shitty fight, shitty fighters. One dude ran away for 15 minutes, the others just followed. Garbage. Hwang's a can. Paddy is a can, but I do think, again, the Irish and how much Dana loves him, he will get a short nose opportunity in the future. And even though he doesn't deserve it, he will get his ass handed to him, but I think that probably will happen, and there you go. Worst fight of the night. They produced probably the worst fight of the season, or up there for it. And, yeah. Track star versus track runner. Can versus can. Piss break of the night. Waste of time. Neither wanted a contract, and that's why neither got one. Piss break of the night. Let's get back to real fights. And oh boy, did we ever, as in our third fight of the card, I guess the featured bout. I don't know if they would call that on Contender Series, but I will hear because I don't really care. We had in our third fight of the night in the lightweight division a fight that was quick and just dominant. Pretty fucking impressive, actually. As we had in our third fight of the night at lightweight, back to impressive fighters who clearly wanted contracts. We had in our third fight of the night Tommy Gantt. I think it's Gantt. They were saying it some weird way, I swear to God. Versus Adam Bomb Livingston. Yeah, this was pretty dominant from the jump. Gantt shot a takedown because he is a wrestler, trains with DC and all that shit. So right off the bat, he shot a takedown. Kind of like the Canadian kid in the first fight. Adam grabbed the cage twice, lost a point for it, but action didn't stop. Gantt eventually did get him down. And when he did, it was pretty much over from there. He was on him like glue until Livingston finally gave up his neck. And that's when Gantt locked up the guillotine and subbed him in under 3 minutes. Yeah, that was impressive. I thought before the fight that if Gantt wanted a contract at his age of almost being 33, he would need to impress. And impress he did. The cage grabbing didn't work for Livingston like it did for the Canadian kid, and he got ran through like butter. Impressive shit from Gantt. DC boy, the one that's actually impressive, unlike that fucking Chapolin can, whatever his name was from last week, or 2 weeks ago, whatever that was. And, yeah, impressive. I'm very impressed. Welcome to the UFC. To get a contract at 32, almost 33 on Contender Series, means you had to impress, and impress he did. Welcome to the UFC, Gantt. DC's hype was warranted, and this was not competitive. To talk about the fighters, we'll begin with Gantt. 11-0 now, 32 years old, soon to be 33. Obviously, you see there he is a wrestler in his singlet, and that's exactly how he fights. We've not seen him strike yet, so hopefully he can strike. Again, he's a DC training partner, so you know he got that good wrestling, and God does he. Like, the elephant in the room, at 32, almost 33, is he really going to do much in UFC? At lightweight, no less? Probably not. He's not bad, and he will be able to beat some guys who are not great, especially on the ground. But by the time he actually, let's say he does make a run, by the time he gets to the higher echelon guys, he'll be, what, 34, 35, unless he fights super actively, which I know he did have, what, 13 fights in 2024, which is impressive. But or in the span of a year, however you want to word it. But like, you can't keep that pace up. Kevin Holland can't. You ain't. And as he gets older, how active is he going to be, and how long can he be at his peak? Time will tell. Can he actually strike? We don't even know that fucking question. Or the answer to that question, I should say. So, I'm intrigued. He looked good. There's no doubt he deserved a contract, but again, is he going to do much in the UFC at this age, in this weight class? Probably not. So, good luck to him. He impressed here, but again, unless he, again, stays active like he has been on the regional scene, which is unlikely, I feel like he's going to be good, but not go super far. So, there you go. Sorry, DC. And then for the opponent that he ran through, Adam Livingston, now 6-1, 24 years old. Yeah, this dude sucks. Not really much to say in that regard. He grabbed the cage twice, still couldn't stop the takedown, got point taken away, and got subbed in 3 minutes. Under 3 minutes. Yeah, he's a can. He's young, so that's the only thing kind of on his side. I would not be shocked if we see him again in the future, because they love bringing terrible fighters back onto Contender Series after a couple years. So if he goes on a nice run, let's say he's fucking not 10-2, or yeah, 10-2, in like by 2027, he's on a nice winning streak. He could get another shot. He won't deserve it, and he will lose. But you know, like especially if Gantt does good in the UFC, yeah, then they'll definitely think of a reason to give him another chance. But outside of that, he sucks, he cheated and still lost, and he talked a lot of shit and still got his ass beat. You suck, get that O taken, bum, and hopefully we don't see him back anytime soon, because he sucks. And that's about that. Quick, easy one for Gantt. Impressed, but I do got worries about him, but until those worries become a problem, I'm impressed. Welcome to the UFC. See how long you can last. DC was right. The kid's good. Well, the guy's good. And I can look past the worries to say welcome to the UFC. I'm excited to see what he can do. Livingston's a can, but Gantt looked impressive here. See what you can do. That's about what I gotta say there. Good luck, old man. After that, we get to our co-main event of the week. And was this the most impressive performance of the night, or what? Jesus, he could not have made this any quicker or more impressive. As we had in our co-main event of the card in the light heavyweight division, the most impressive fight of the night, the quickest one of the night, to be his underdog win of the night, and just, again, impressive is the key word I could think to use. Holy shit would be another one. Are coming on the prelims in the light heavyweight division, the fastest fight in the biggest underdog win of the night, the most impressive, and most importantly, we had Iwo Baraniewski versus Mahamed Aly. Yes, named after that one. Wow. You can't impress more than a 20-second knockout as a giant underdog against a dude named after Muhammad fucking Ali. What can I even say here? Fight started, and pretty quickly Iwo landed a beautiful right overhand, knocked Ali down, one big punch on the ground, put it away. That was that. Iwo, 20-second knockout, pretty much handed him the contract on the spot, or you should have. Wow, what can I even fucking say? Welcome to the UFC, Iwo. Light heavyweight has more legendary bullish power in its division, and yeah, kid looks good. Kid looks good, 6-0, 26 years old, bullish, which we know is a market they're getting a little needy for, and never been to the fourth minute of a fight. guy looks good. Not gonna say he's gonna be some fucking champion, cause still a little early to say that now. But welcome to the UFC. You giant underdog win, 20-second knockout against a dude who was hyped up. I can't say much else. And most impressive fighter of the night. Welcome to UFC. Holy shit! Wow, like all the synonyms you could use. There you go. Not really much else to say. And then for the opponent, Mahamed Aly, for some reason named after that one, but the dude can't strike. 4-1 now, 31 years old. This dude's a can. He had a deep grappling career, but clearly that didn't help him here. Yes, that is that Jared Gooden, who was in the UFC for a while. That tells you how good this dude is. That's his best win. Yeah, dude's trash. What can I say? Seems like that's a running theme with fighters who try to honor Mahamed Aly. That can in PFL, who I know it's like, what, his grandson or some shit? Sucks. This dude sucks. Maybe stop trying to honor Mahamed Aly. You're not as good as him. You never will be. There's only one Ali, and you ain't gonna be the next one. And there will never be a next one. You're just some fucking can whose father named him after him. You got none of the skills of him, buddy. You suck. Still probably better than that can in PFL. And that's about that. What can I say? Iwo, easily the most impressive fighter of the night, quickest finish of the night, upset of the night, knockout of the night. Welcome to the UFC, buddy. Hopefully he gets the fight booked ASAP. He didn't take a fucking punch here. So he probably get a fight booked before the weekend. Hopefully he could get a fight booked quickly. Put him on any fucking card. Probably 320. Fuck it, why not? I see no reason not to. Took no damage. Would be a fun fighter to have on the card. Kid looks good. Get him a fight ASAP. And for Ali, he sucks. What else there to say? Great win for Iwo. Waking up the crowd even more than Gantt did. Performance of the night, highlight of the night, fighter of the night. Welcome to the UFC Iwo. Can't wait to see more legendary bullish power on display every time he fights, because that man knows one thing: knockout, and did he show it here. Put Ali to sleep. Good one for Iwo. Welcome to the UFC. And then the main event of the evening. A fight that had a lot of story behind it, and it was alright overall, but the story behind it carried it more than anything, as we had in the main event of the evening at featherweight? Bantamweight. These are big ass bantamweights. In the bantamweight division to end the night with a heart-wrenching fight that was a happy ending in the end. The feel-good story of the season we had in the main event to end week 6 of Contender Series. Bantamweight, Hecher, Gunache Warrior, Sosa versus Mackson Lee. What a fucking story behind this fight. Was it the best fight in the world? No, it was not a fantastic fight. But was the story behind it amazing? Yes. Before I get to the story behind it, to just recap the fight real quick, for 15 minutes, Sosa beat the shit out of Lee on the feet. He probably should have knocked him out like 3 times, but Lee's made out of fucking metal. And then after a while, Sosa just said, yeah, I'm gonna grapple fuck you and win, and that's what he did in round 3. Clear 30-27, not really much of a debate to it. Flawless victory. No fatality, but close enough. Yeah, to just get to the point of this fight, the story behind it, Sosa lost his father while cutting weight, like I think over the weekend or something, and he still showed up, still made weight, and all I can think is of course, RIP, Second, how I never want to hear another excuse for a weight miss again. If you miss weight, you're just fucking lazy. Like, this man had the hardest weight cut in human history, and he still made weight, showed up, performed, and did great. And then this is a year after he lost his sister or something, so life has not been nice to this guy, but he still showed up here with his heart on his sleeve, motivated, and every other term you can use, sad, and dominated. 14-1 now from Spain at 30 years old. There's no word you couldn't give him a contract here. Like, there's nothing to say about the fight. He ran through him like paper. Like, he 30-27'd him, and again, should have got a finish if Lee was made out of, like, I don't know, normal things, not metal, because I don't know how you take that many punches and don't go out. But what do I know? What I do know is there's no world you are not giving Sosa a contract. Dana does have a heart after all. I know there was still a lot of debate about that, but he had the heart, and Sosa got a contract. Good for him, man. Good for him after all he's been through. To make weight after all that, he had every excuse in the world not to make weight, but he's not a fucking unprofessional clown, Kelvin Gastelum. He showed up, made weight, and performed. Congrats to him. Welcome to the UFC. He did look good. His striking looked good. He's nearly Tapoya training partner. Not as good as Ilya, of course, but his striking looked good. His grappling looked fine. He looks well-rounded. 30 years old. Heart on his sleeve. Welcome to the UFC, Sosa. See what this guy can do. Good addition to bantamweight. Don't just like a few other fighters tonight. No, I don't see him being a champion or anything, but I think the dude is decent, and I'm excited to see what he can do in the UFC. He earned it more. He earned the contract before the fight, even more after it. We found out Dana does have a heart after all. Welcome to UFC, Sosa. And then for the opponent, Mackson Aly, who I almost feel bad for, because he just got locked in there with a man who was motivated and was not going to quit no matter what. Mackson now falls to 9-1 at 26 years old. He's not terrible. He's tough. Outside of that, I don't think much of him. His striking didn't look very good. His grappling looked pretty below average. Outside of being tough, I can't really think of anything that great to say about him. Again, I almost feel bad for him because he got locked in there with a man that had nothing to lose. He's pissed off, sad, motivated. He just looked at Mahamed Aly as a fucking... all Sosa saw was red. And Mahamed Aly got to feel every bit of that anger, pain, sadness, etc., motivation. And he got fast beat. Should have been finished. Again, respect him for being just tougher than nails. But outside of his toughness, there's just not really much to write home about with Mackson. His skill set didn't look very great, and he took the L here. So, could he come back? Sure. 26, he's still pretty young. If the UFC likes what they saw in him, I could see him getting another shot in a year or two. Because he is tough, and he did kind of get the short end of the stick here. So I would, out of all the losers, I would be most okay with Mackson getting another opportunity. And we'll see if he does. So, got short on the stick here, but outside of it, he did show off his toughness. That's about that. He just fought a guy who was too motivated to lose. Maybe next time Mackson just got short on the stick here. Yeah, maybe we'll see him again in the future against someone who's not pissed off. Time will tell. Aside of that, not very much else to say. Happy for Sosa, the feel-good story of the season so far. Again, the dude earned a contract before the fight, let alone in it. Dana does have a heart, even if this was not great. If you take away the story behind this fight, I don't think you give a contract here. But with the story and everything behind it, no doubt Sosa deserves a contract here. He got it. Happy for him. Feel-good moment of the season. Welcome to the UFC. Maybe Mackson Aly will have a better chance next time, if there is a next time. But here he fought a guy who just saw red and was just motivated, happy for Sosa and his family. Welcome to the UFC. Great way to end the night with a feel-good story. Finally, with that being said, boom, that was the card. Not very much to say about how I did on picks, because as always I was just guessing, and I went 1 of 5. I guess that's alright. Dropped the ball in the rest. I fell for the Aly trap. Livingston I picked because Gantt was so old. Hwang, because I knew Paddy sucked, but I didn't know he sucked more. And Uchegbu looked like a 50-50 fight on paper, and it definitely was not. Don't take my L's. It happens. I'm just guessing on Contender Series, and I just do it for fun, so I really don't give a shit. So, what can you do? I think easily my worst night so far, Contender Series. Usually I'm doing pretty good, but here I just could not get one right to save my life. So, 1 W, 4 L's. I'll take it. Obviously no bonuses or chopping block. If you missed this episode, what should I say? You should go back and rewatch. I would say the Cody fight, if you want, you could go without saying that, to be honest. The Paddy fight, miss, and then I'd rewatch these 3. Though you could skip the first 2. This is if you want to, but I would definitely watch the last 3 fights. The last 3 fights, and yeah, they were pretty damn good. Obviously the 4 contracts went to Sosa, Iwo, Gantt, and Cody. And I think the second to last thing I can think to say, as I usually do with the Contender Series recaps, are how would I rank the fighters? Like obviously how DC and Felder and all that do every week. I would say number 1, Iwo, no doubt. Number 2, Gantt. Number 3, Sosa. Number 4, Cody. And number 5, Paddy. You could make a case for Sosa number 2, but I think Gantt should be number 2, and then Sosa number 3, because again he did not get the finish in the end, and then Cody and Paddy obviously number 5, because he didn't get a contract and this fight was awful, so that's why I would rank him. And with that being said, I think the only thing left to say for this card is, what would I rate it? After a very high rating last week for week 5, what do I give week 6, which I think was a bit of a downgrade? I'm feeling I'm gonna say a 5.3. I thought it was decent, not phenomenal, but decent. I would imagine that's one of the lower grades I've given out this season. 5.3. I think last week was like an 8 or a 9. It was fucking great. But for this one, 5.3. I would rather watch this again than Noche. That's for fucking sure. Shorter. And for being the only fights this week, giving us some great fights, especially those last 3. 5.3. Very good week Contender Series. I enjoyed it. And better than nothing this week. 5.3. Thank you, Contender Series, for giving us something in terms of fights this week. And with that being said, there's not very much else to say. Hopefully we look back on this episode fondly when it comes to talent. I'm not going to be confident in that. Maybe Iwo. Gantt's old. Cody's not great. Sosa is at bantamweight, so good luck. But time will tell. But as of right now, look back on this episode. I'll look back on this episode good, because it was the only fights we had this week, and they were fine. So there you go. About all I gotta say. Yeah, that's about that for the recap. Obviously, this is the only video this week, because there's no card, so that sucks, but obviously I'll be streaming plenty. I'll be going live tonight for the normal Wednesday show with J-Beers. I'll be going live Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Not Thursday. I'm going to take no point to, because we're not doing a parlay show for just the NFL. That'd be fucking stupid. So, not happening there. Though, you'll still get plenty of content, but just not video form, which sucks, but what can you do? If you only watch videos, then I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope you enjoy the Week 7 recap next week, because that'll be the next video, before we get back to breakdowns and all the UFC goodness. So, yeah, there you go. Week 6 in the books. Week 7 next week looks alright. Second female fight of the season, and some very interesting fights mixed in there. I have some faith. I think it will be decent, and yeah. Again, it'll be, we'll start getting that craving for fights by that point. Well, we'll get before then, by the weekend we will, but, we'll definitely get that craving for fights soon, during the weekend, with no fights, but this was a good appetizer, and I enjoyed it, so. Only fights this week in the books. Hope you enjoyed the recap for it, hope you enjoyed the card, and, yeah, hope you enjoyed the one video of the week, till we get back to fights next week. Why did you take 2 breaks, like, within a span of 4 weeks, UC? You're evil assholes. That being said, got nothing really left to say, because I'm just rambling at this point. 40-minute video. Didn't feel like 40 minutes, felt shorter, but hope you all enjoyed it either way. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe. 200 subs goal by the end of 2025. And unless I'm forgetting to say something which you don't believe I am, for the only video this week, I say I love y'all. See y'all next week for week 7 before we get back to fights in Perth. And as always, see y'all on stream, and if not, see y'all next week for videos. And as always, RX out. Good vibes only. And always.